What's going on, guys? This is week 13. We're bringing you pitching matchups, hitting matchups, and some sneaky streamers. You're not going to want to miss this episode. What's going on, guys? We're week 13 fantasy baseball. I know it looks a little odd. I'm just here with myself today. I'm Doug, coming from the man cave down in Foxborough. Mikey V is on vacation. Mikey V, I know he's up in Maine. I hope he's having a good time. I know he's going to be listening. Miss you already, buddy. Miss you already. So we're week 13. What did I tell you? We're going to be talking about streamers. We're going to be talking about pitching matchups. We're going to be talking about hitting matchups. So let's just dive right in and go right into the pitching matchups. And of course, there is no structure to this. There is no rankings to this. These are kind of the matchups that I like personally, that I think make sense. Now, obviously, you're always going to start your studs, but these ones I like a little more than your others. And I like to mix them up. I like to throw a couple 2 starts in there. I like to throw a couple single starts in there and go from there. But let me go over, some of the stats, some of the rhymes, some of the reason, and then we'll figure all this good stuff out. All right. So I have, first and foremost, I have Rays starting pitcher Drew Rossman. Monday, at home versus the Royals. Saturday, at home versus the D-backs. What an amazing year for this guy, right? 6-3, 80 innings pitched, 84 strikeouts, a 2.5 ERA, 184 points. He's giving you 13.2 a start. So every time this guy goes out on the mound in a points league, he's giving you 13.2 points. Last start, it was a loss. It was at the Dodgers. He gave up an earned run in 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, and you get the loss. That's a kick. That's a kick. 9 starts. He's gone 7 innings. Things are there. I think that continues with these 2 matchups against some kind of struggling offenses. Let's be honest with each other. Arizona is not the Arizona from last year. Yes, you're missing a Josh Naylor and you're missing a Eugenio Suarez, but you still have a Corbin Carroll and Perdomo. We knew was going to take a step back. So they're kind of teetering around 500, right? And then you get the Royals, who we're going to talk about later on. That is a story of its own. So you're going to want to listen to that story. Next up, I have Guardians starting pitcher Gavin Williams. Monday, he is playing in Chicago against the White Sox. Sunday, he's at home versus Seattle, which is going to be an interesting matchup. 9-4 in the year, 91 innings, 103 strikeouts, 30 walks, a ton of walks, a 3.83 ERA. He's giving you 13.9 starts. He's giving you more than Drew. 208 total points. Last start wasn't so hot. He was playing a really hot Milwaukee Brewers team. He ended up getting the loss, 5 innings, 7 earned, 4 strikeouts, negative 5.6 points. That's kind of rough. Listen, here's the bad. He hasn't gone more than 5 1/3 his last 3 starts. But let's cut him some slack, right? He had 2 starts against the Yankees, and then his last start against Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Those are some pretty tough matchups, in my opinion. Okay? He Ks a ton of guys, so he's not really going to kill you if he gets the loss. Unfortunately for this one, he just gave away too many runs. But he does K a ton of guys. In a points league, that's not really going to hurt you. I think these are kind of what they call get-right matchups. Really, my only concern is the offense. I think he's going to go out. Both these teams strike out a ton. The White Sox are, first place now in the Central? So this is going to be a really great game. This is going to be a game for him to hopefully come up and show you that he is the ace. He is the stud. Hopefully, bring this Guardians team back up into first place or work its way toward there. But you can't replace a Jose Ramirez. We're going to talk about maybe trying to find someone you could plug and play on a week-to-week basis until he comes back. And we'll talk about his injury and let you know how long that lasts, that timeline. But for these particular matchups, my only concern is really making sure that they can score enough runs to get him the win. The strikeouts will be there. I mean, listen, he gives up 7 runs, but he still went 5 innings. You got to give him credit, right? I mean, a lot of times when you have a pitcher giving up that many runs, he's either getting shellacked or pretty much just shellacked. I don't think there's anything else to it, right? And a lot of times, if you give up that many runs, you're out after 3. So the fact that he went in, he gave you 5, got you 4 strikeouts, could have been a lot worse. He could have been almost -10. So you take the -5, you take it with stride, and then you say 2 starts next week, 2 winnable. If not winnable, I mean, I can definitely get no decisions. He could definitely hit 8+ strikeouts in each one of those and go from there. But I do like the start. I think it's a get right. I really do. And then here's a surprising one I have. It's just, I don't know. It's a good story. And coming from Boston, Dustin May, Cardinals starting pitcher Dustin May. He's playing Friday he's at home versus Miami. And he's having a great year. He's giving you 11.4 points a start. He's got 159 total points. Our points lead 5-6, right? 81 innings pitched, 75 strikeouts, 21 walks, a 3.70 ERA. There are times when May can't give you 6 innings pitched. He can't give you the quality start. But again, the strikeouts are there. He's at home. This Cardinals offense is clicking. They should be able, at least on paper, to get May the win. Miami's playing really good, right? This is 500 ball they're playing. It's a surprise. The real question is going to be, can they maintain it? Can they keep it up? Now, on the flip side of that, the Cardinals, they've been pretty steady all year. Ivan Herrera, catcher, is almost a cheat code. Honestly, he's a DH catcher eligible. You can DH him if you have like an Adley goes out. He's on the IL for 7 days. You can just plug him in, move him from the utility spot to that DH hole, and then put somebody else in. He's a top 5 catcher, right? Alec Burleson, he's having a great year. Drew Walker's having a great year. So I really think that offense comes alive. They're at home, Miami. Nothing tells me Dustin May shouldn't get the win. It doesn't. So you go from one guy to another in Yamamoto, Dodgers starting pitcher. Saturday, playing in San Diego. Great numbers. Again, 7-5, 91 innings pitched, 86 strikeouts, 17 walks, a 2.6 ERA, 203 total points. He's giving you 14.5 a start. That is insane. There's so much talk of that NL Cy Young race, but really, no one's really mentioned Yamamoto. Like they did at the beginning, and after the first 3 weeks, it was more of, okay, Ohtani's going to go out there. Chris Sale looks great. Christopher Sanchez, Paul Skeens, but now every single one of them is starting to get chinks in the armor, right? Sanchez, he looked good, Saturday, but the start prior, he kind of looked average. That didn't really strike out a ton of guys. Skeens he hasn't looked like Skeens, right? The strikeouts are there, but he's still giving up a lot of runs lately. Chris Sale, same thing, And Shohei Ohtani, his last start, didn't really look amazing. So I think this is a great time for Yamamoto to maybe step up playing in San Diego against the Padres. His last few starts have been, spectacular, right? Playing against the White Sox in Chicago, 8 1/3, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts, gave you 25 points. Okay, his last start was Baltimore, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 3 earned, gave you 5. But prior to that Baltimore start, he was 4-0 in his last 4 starts, averaging 6 strikeouts and 7 innings pitched. In his last 14 starts, he only failed to go 6 innings twice. And he's only given up 3 or more earned runs just once. So to me, this is a really good this is a great option. Obviously, you're going to start him regardless, but I'm just saying I would start him with confidence, right? It's a division game. Those are usually very low scoring. They can get wild, but Yamamoto is just playing really well. I think the way he pitched or is pitching kind of carries over to this. And that Padres lineup, they're starting to heat up a little bit. Jackson Merrill looks like he's coming alive. Machado hit a home run the other day, but I still like Yamamoto. And of course, the Dodgers lineup, right? He's going to get a win. Let's be honest with each other. They're going to they could definitely outmatch the Padres. And last but not least, and this one's going to be a little strange one because you're going to be like, man, I just saw this guy pitch and he did not look great at all. I'm talking about Mets starting pitcher Freddy Peralta. Thursday at home versus the Cubs on the year. Not sexy at all, right? 5-6, 85 and 2/3 innings pitched, 83 strikeouts, 34 walks, a 4.8 ERA, 118 points, 7 points a start. Freddie, really, he has been up and down all year. At times, he has looked like the stud the Brewers traded. Then he just takes a giant leap back, and looks like that's what he did Saturday, right? Lucky for him, he'll be at home, right? His offense is starting to wake up a little bit. Bo Bichette, one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Juan Soto, one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Lindor's coming back either later on this week or early next week at some point. So that I think is just going to get better. And as far as the Cubs go, I know PCA seems to be hitting home runs almost every game, but this isn't the Rockies. This isn't a Toronto team. This is they're playing in New York against the Mets, and I think Freddie really has something to prove after that last start against the Phillies in Philly. You give him the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean, that last start really ballooned everything. His ERA was like a 3.9. Now it's a 4.8. That just goes to show you how bad that one start was. I still have faith in him. I still think the Mets can somehow turn this around. I'm a Mets guy. I have the faith. All I can do is pray. That's all I can do. I was always a Mets guy. And I can go off topic and talk about Carlos Delgado, Jose Ramirez, David Wright, Carlos Beltran. I mean, those were the Mets, right? I love what they're doing. I love what the owner's doing. Listen, he's trying to build a team year in, year out, and he's dumping money into it. And that's what you want from ownership. You want the buy-in. You want him to go just throw cash, try to better this team year in, year out. And he's not going to get it right all the time, right? We saw that with the Verlander, Max Scherzer signings a few years back. But what he did with Juan Soto, he did the right thing. I think you go out and you got the start. Now it's just try to build around him and get a rotation behind him. And I think next year you're going to see some big moves. You're going to see some pretty big free agent signings, and he's not going to be afraid. We all know he's not going to be afraid to just dive in. So I really hope Freddy Peralta, this is a pretty fun matchup. Cubs Thursday at home. Why not, right? So let's look at some tough pitching matchups. And some of these you might scratch your head. Some of them you might say, well, Doug, I think you got something. So let me show you my 5, right? And these are tough. These are tough matchups. Okay. And honestly, like I said, they're not ranked, but if they were, Michael King would probably be the toughest one. I know he's a 2-start, right? Look at that, though. He's playing at home both starts, which is cool, right? I mean, that's good. But Monday, playing the Braves. Sunday, playing the Dodgers. 4-6 on the year, 85 innings pitched, 73 strikeouts. The strikeouts aren't what they were last year or the year before. 35 walks, a 3.6 ERA. He's giving you 8 points to start. His last start was at St. Louis, which makes that Dustin May start look even better, right? Because St. Louis plays so much better at home. 0-1, he got the loss. He only went 4 1/3, 3 earned, 1 strikeout, negative 4.92 points. His last 4 starts, well, actually, let me take that back. His last 5 starts, he's 0-4. And the A's, he gave up 4 earned. The Nationals, he gave up 5 earned. The Mets, he gave up 4 earned. The Reds, he gave up 3. The Cardinals, 3. And on paper, you look at all these matchups and you're like, well, these are winnable, right? Maybe the A's won because the A's are so hot, he probably loses, or maybe the Cards. How does he go 0-4? Like on paper, it's just baseball is so unpredictable this year, right? And here's the crazier part. If you add the points from all 5 starts, what do you think that point total is? It's not even positive. Negative 7 points from 5 starts. I really think the funk continues with these really tough matchups. And even without Acuna Jr. in there, Ozzie Albies has been red hot. Matt Olson's kind of cooling down a little bit, but that's all right. You got Drake Baldwin back in that lineup. I like it. I would maybe steer away from him. Even if I was in a weekly league with the 2 starts, I would be enticed to bench him. And on the flip side of that, Valdez, Tiger starting pitcher, he's playing Monday against the Yankees at home, Saturday against the Astros at home. I own Framber Valdez, and I'm benching him in my weekly league. I don't care if he's a two-start or not. Listen, he can go out there and he loses both starts. You're looking at negative 10 points for the entire week, right? Last start, pretty good, right? He was playing in Houston. He got a no decision, 6 innings, no earned, 6 strikeouts, 13 points to start, 13.88, excuse me, for that start. On the year though, 3-5, a 4.09 ERA. He's giving you 7.6 a start. I mean, talk about a fantasy disappointment, man. This guy, you look at him and he still throws hard, but the walks have always been his issue. And his last 7 games, he's got 17 walks. That's not gonna go. That's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help anybody, especially that Tigers offense is pretty lackluster. I just I it, it's I like what they're doing there. They're missing something in that lineup. They're missing an offensive veteran, really. I mean, Bregman in this lineup, even though he's having a pretty rough year with Chicago, one player we all know can change the dynamic of a lineup. We've seen it with Juan Soto in certain lineups, right? You can see it with a like an Aaron Judge, even though that Yankees offense is still kind of chugging along without him. But to get back to Framber, as an owner, he's been on my bench for the last month, right? Even this upcoming matchup, he'll be there. Like I said, all you can hope for is that he goes out, he builds momentum, and he makes a second half run, and he can contribute. But I don't think that run starts this week. They're just tough matchups. They really are. And another one where you'll probably scratch your head, Joe Ryan, Twins starting pitcher. The Mets, the Twins starting pitcher. Why did I say Mets? Tuesday, he's at home. He's playing the Dodgers. This, again, it's a tough matchup. And it's really not more on him. It's more on the team. And we'll get to that in a second. But on the year, a 2.9 ERA, 99 strikeouts in 87 innings. He's 5-3. He's giving you 12 a start. His last few starts, a no decision versus the Cardinals, right? 6 innings, 3 earned, 8 strikeouts, 12 points. Didn't even get the win. Next start, he only went 5. 7 earned, 7 strikeouts, no earned. In Texas against the Rangers, got you 19 points. This is the most mind-blowing stat of all for Joe Ryan. In his last 16 starts, he has 8 no decisions. So of those 8 no decisions, 6 of them, he gave up 2 runs or less. That's more on the offense than the player. And this is where fantasy baseball, you kind of got to look beyond the player. Because when you're talking points or you're talking caps, you got to also look at the offense, and you got to make sure they can score runs, bail the pitcher out if he gives up a couple, right? I mean, Joe Ryan, he's given up like 5 home runs in his last 4 games. If you don't count this recent start he just had against the Rangers, he's not prone to giving up the long ball. That Dodgers offense we know can score runs. So I don't think the Twins are going to be able to keep up and maintain with that scoring. So I don't know if I would start him. I really don't. It's tough. It's a tough call. If you do, I get it. This was a guy you drafted probably in your top 6 rounds. You don't want to bench a guy that you draft that high. But hey, to tell you, I drafted Freddy Peralta pretty high, and I've been sitting him for the last month. So it is what it is. Next one, again, this is just, like I said, baseball this year has just been so unpredictable for certain teams. The Red Sox are the same, right? So you got Will Warren, the Yankees starting pitcher, playing at Boston Thursday. Great year, 11.8 a start, 7-2. He's got 84 strikeouts and 78 innings, a 3.4 ERA. His last few starts, not the best, right? I mean, he went 4 in the third and gave up 3 earned at Cleveland against the Guardians. He went 4 innings, gave up 2 earned at Toronto against the Blue Jays. He went 5 2/3 and gave up 2 earned at home versus the Reds. I mean, this game to me just screams a trap game. You're in Boston against a Sox team that is pretty much fighting to stay alive, to stay together, because the trade deadline is slowly approaching, right? I honestly think this offense can grind this out and just warn you. He's not. Look at he hasn't gone 6. His previous 2 starts didn't go 5. So you grind it out and you get to the bullpen, there you go, right? And I definitely think this offense can do it if they're clicking. If they're clicking, it's a division game. We all know those type of games are the wildest games ever, and I feel like this one is just a trap game. And what I mean by that is Will Warren and the Yankees will probably be the favorites, and they might lose. That's all. And then last but not least, I do have Angels relief pitcher, starting pitcher Reed Detmers Saturday at home versus the A's. 3-5, 100 strikeouts at 88 innings, 3.6 ERA, 9.7 a start, 146 points total. His last start was at Arizona against the D-backs. Great start, 1-0, 7 innings pitched, only 3 strikeouts, gave you 21 points. It's a great story for the Angels. But last year, here's something you also want to take into account as a Reed Detmers owner, right? So last year he threw 63 innings total, 87 the year before that. Now he's at 88 right now, so he's already reached his last 2 years. So it's really going to be interesting to see what this Angels team is going to do, how they're going to treat him. He could be a really good trade candidate to teams, but then if you're going to buy him, you got to look at the innings. Is this just kind of screams a Garrett Crochet with the White Sox his last year. Started, took him out. He wanted to play every game, so they spot started him 2 innings, 3 innings here or there. And I feel like that might be something they might do with Reed. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch what they do with him going forward. And a little fun fact, last time he faced the A's at home, he only went 5 2/3. He gave up 8 earned. So I expect the same treatment. That A's offense has been red hot. Jacob Wilson, I mean, who has a shortstop that's cleanup? Not since the Nomar Garcia-Barra days, for God's sakes. He's batting cleanup. Tyler Soderstrom has been red hot. Nick Kurtz has been red hot as a leadoff hitter. And Shea Langoliers. I mean, it's a fun lineup. It's a good lineup. I think it's an underrated lineup because when they're going, they're going. And lately, they have been going. So I like it. I don't think I would put a Reed Detmers in that lineup. But again, you do what you got to do. You want to throw him in that relief spot. And if you got 2 relief spots and you only have one really, really good closer and you're not sure what you want to do with the Reed Detmers, I get where you're coming from. I get it. But let me just shift him in there, keep my Josh Hader, Iglesias, keep him in there, and then maybe try to get a good win out of that. But that could just blow back in your face. At least closers, if they're playing 6 games a week, they at least have a chance to go in and get you 3 or 4 saves. A pitcher in that spot, he's going to give you 1 start. And your week's going to be dictated on that 1 start. So you have to hope he at least gets you a no decision, right? If you give you a quality start and you get a no decision and your league rewards you for quality start points, that might not be too bad. But I just don't think he's going to get a quality start, especially against the A's. All right. Talk pitchers. I hope I'm not boring you. It's weird without Mikey V here. I'm just trying to get the flow going, trying to pump this up a little bit. Let's talk lineups. What better? Honestly, it's more fun to dissect lineups than it is to dissect pitchers because lineups, you're talking about, 6 or 7 games throughout the week. So let me talk about some of these ones. And to me, when I say must start hitting lineups, I'm talking about if you lose a Jose Ramirez and you're trying to look for a third baseman to throw in that spot, maybe one of these third basemen that are available from one of these teams, I would throw in that spot. I would stream them from one of these teams because the matchups are good. They're really good hitting matchups for these lineups. So let me break it down for you and kind of put some context into why I put these teams in here for these 5 specifically. So Atlanta Braves, 3 games at the Padres in San Diego, 3 games against the Giants in San Francisco. They're in first, but I think the Phillies are really coming up close behind them. They've been playing 500 ball. The loss of Acuna really hurts because that top of the order has constantly been changing. You had Dubon batting leadoff. Now you got Drake Baldwin, which I do like. And it also helps who they're going up against, right? I mean, you got Michael King, you got Griffin Canning, you got Randy Vasquez, And then on the flip side of that with the Giants, you got Logan Webb, who's probably going to be their hardest starter they're going to face this week. But Adrian Hauser, even Robbie Ray, his ERA's over 4. Like, that doesn't scare me really. I think this is a really good matchup for a Braves team, even though they're not at home. They should be able to crank out runs against most of these people. My hesitation would be Logan Webb, but other than that, if you're in a weekly lineup, it wouldn't be crazy to go out and maybe pick somebody up and add them to this, except for maybe Austin Riley. Might just want to stay away from the Rye Man for a little while, maybe for a while, forever, most likely. And then, of course, here's a fun one. I just talked about the Athletics, right? 3 games. They're playing San Francisco. 3 games against the Angels in L.A. They're fighting with Seattle for first place. They're just a few games separate the two. They've been playing well over 500 the last few weeks. They're going up against Robbie Ray, again, over a 4 ERA, Landon Roop, Trevor McDonald, Walbert Urena, Reed Detmers, Sam Algery. I mean, nothing tells me they can't stay over 500. Nothing tells me they can't at least win the series that they're playing. They might not do sweeps, but they should be able to go out and they should be able to win these. They're all winnable matchups on paper. I just think they're going to keep chugging along. I really do. And then I know last week I had put these on tough matchups. I'm going to flip the script a little bit. I'm going to put them on a fun matchup here. I'm talking about the Orioles. They got 3 games against the Angels in LA. They got 3 games at home versus the Nationals. Only a few games out of the wild card. They might be in 4th place in the East, but they're only a few games in the wild card. It's a different story. Playing around 500 last couple of weeks, going up against Sam Algery, Jose Soriano, who's just night and day. I think you had your chance to trade Soriano, and if you held him, I respect it. You just had to have known he was going to fall back down to earth, and you're seeing it now, unfortunately. And then that third start, it looks like they don't have anybody in play there, so that's probably going to be a spot starter, which is even better, right? And then with the Nationals, you got Andrew Alvarez, Foster Griffin, Zach Little. So it's pretty easy. I think it's a good matchup here. I think these are the games they need to win to stay in the hunt, and I think they can. The offense looks like they're waking up. Gunnar Henderson hit a home run last week on Wednesday. Pete Alonso has been hitting a home run. I think 2 or 3 home runs the last couple of weeks. Every week he's hitting 2 or 3. So I feel like this offense is maybe starting to turn its corner. Obviously, Adley Rutschman goes on the 7-day IL with the concussion. That was just a freak injury. But I like the offense. I like the matchups. I think they can win. They can come out and win and make some noise, especially in that wild card race in the American League. Another team, the Phillies, 4 games. They're playing 7 games, so they're playing every single game next week. There are a couple teams that are. 4 games at Washington against the Nationals, 3 games New York against the Mets. Really coming on strong, really challenging that Braves team for first place in the NL East. Playing over 500 the last few games, going up against Forrest Griffin, Zach Little, Cade Cavalli, Miles Mikolas, a spot starter Friday, Kodai Senga, Freddy Peralta. So obviously most of these should be winnable. My only hesitation is I do like the Freddy Peralta matchup. I like him at home. Kodai Senga is not good. He's just not good. Unfortunately, that experiment is over, which is wild because his first year and a half, he was a top 10 starting pitcher. And I don't know what caused him to take such a massive step back. Maybe I know he did get hurt, and now he's starting to get hurt at least 2 or 3 times a year, which is unfortunate. But it's still, if you're sending out a guy with that high of an ERA that's playing that bad every other 5 days, every 5 days or 6 days, are you really looking to win? Like, take a step back and be like, hey, he's not producing. I don't think we should keep him up here. He's doing more harm than good. And I hopefully they get the message, the Mets. But as far as the Phillies offense, they play in all 7 games. I think the first 4 games at Washington, I think they're just going to rake. They're going to rake. The Mets, if Kodai Senga is really going to be pitching, they're going to rake him too. I just see, like I said, I can see Freddy Peralta maybe getting you that sneaky win. That's probably my only bad maybe hesitation with the Phillies for next week. But Who knows? Well, they could just destroy him, right? Um, but I think Freddie's going to be looking for revenge. So we'll see what happens. And then last but not least, I do have the Tampa Bay Rays on here. They're playing 7 games, 4 games at home versus the Royals, 3 games at home versus the D-backs. They are dropped out of first. They're playing around 500 the last few weeks. They just got swept by the Dodgers in LA, and they just lost the series to the Angels. This kind of, again, let's get right matchups at home, all 7 games. You're playing Michael Wacha, you're playing Avila, Noah Cameron, Seth Lugo, Ryan Nelson's on the IL, so that might be a spot start right there. Merrill Kelly. There's no reason why this offense cannot wake up this upcoming week. I mean, I would hit them hard, man. I really would. I on paper, they should be able to win at least 4 of these games, 4 of the 7. But again, baseball's been so wild. So then we're going to go around. We're going to flip the script, and again, we're going to talk some tough matchups, some tough lineups for next week. And there they are. You should understand why just by looking at who they're going against, right? So first and foremost, I do have the Padres on here. Okay, we talked about it already. 3 games at home versus the Braves, 3 games at home versus the Dodgers. They are still in the thick of the wild card. However, I think it's safe to say this division might be out of reach. If the Dodgers go in and they sweep, I know it's so early, but they can almost put this division in the rearview mirror. You know, if you're going to gain another 3 games, you know, you're talking about almost double digits. That's huge. Now, of course, the Padres need to come in and try to slow them down and try to at least win 1. I don't know. I don't see it happening. They're playing around 500 ball the last few weeks, but they're going up against J.R. Ritchie, Martin Perez, Chris Sale, Yamamoto, Ohtani. These are really tough matchups. Really, really tough. And that Padres team, we talked about it. Like Tatis Jr., what is he at? 1-2 home runs? Machado, strikeouts galore. And I think those strikeouts are going to, I mean, Chris Sale's going to love to see the Padres. I think Yamamoto is going to love to see him. I think Ohtani, I mean, you're talking about these guys could get like 7+ strikeout outings. Just be very hesitant starting some of these guys. I understand why you want to. They're just tough matchups. You can just look at on paper, be like, wow, you know, I don't know if I would. And then the Tigers, man, this is one I'd love to just riff on with Mike, because this Tigers team. Well, let's talk about the week first. 3 games at home versus the Yankees, 4 games at home versus the Astros. Okay, they're going up against a Garrett Cole. They're going up against a Carlos Rondon. I think Cam Schlittler's in there too. You got Spencer Getty, Hunter Brown. I don't think these matchups are really going to help a struggling team get back on track. I don't think they are at all. And I want to say this as nice as possible. When can we finally say this is a lost season for the Detroit Tigers? Almost double digits out of the division, right around 5 games out of the wild card, playing well under 500 the last few weeks. Talk about that offense. They haven't done any favors to the pitching staff. Scooble's losing games now. He used to be the automatic. He used to be the stopgap guy. Hey, we need a win here. Scooble's going. Should be an automatic win. It's the offense. They just can't generate runs. And going up against these guys, you're talking about a lot of strikeouts. These are power pitchers here. They all pitch really hard. Any single one of them, you could get 10+ strikeouts this upcoming week. You know, Hunter Brown looks good. Garrett Cole, depends what Garrett Cole you're going to see. I mean, you can see the one from the last couple starts or the one from a couple starts before that where he looked amazing. He's still trying to ride off the rust, but I'm just hesitant on this Tigers team. I don't trust them. I think it's a lost season for them. I really do, and it's unfortunate because they go out and they sign a Valdez, and he's crushed them. He's crushed them. Right. Then we move on. Arizona Diamondbacks. They're playing 7 games, but they're not a fun 7. They're not a good 7. They're not a fan favorite 7. 4 games at St. Louis against the Cards. 3 games Tampa Bay against the Rays. They're fighting for last place in that NL wildcard start. Playing 500 ball the last few weeks. Going up against an Andrew Palente, a Kyle Lee, Matt Liebertor, Michael McGreevy, Nick Martinez, Drew Rossman, Shane McCullahan. Every game is a tough task for this Arizona team. And again, I want to say I was all in on them last year. I really was. I was in on them even when Josh Naylor got traded and Eugenio Suarez got traded. Perdomo was still producing. Kento Marte was still producing. Corbin Carroll was still producing. And now it just feels like they take a step back a little bit, where Corbin Carroll will go out and he'll have a great game. He'll give you a triple, a home run, a double. He'll look great, but nobody else will produce. Then you go to another game, and Kento Marte has a great game, but nobody else produces. It's like, when can all of them produce? And that's what you're seeing now, where a lot of these teams are just taking advantage of it. And with these pitching matchups, it would be tough for me to go in and validate starting somebody outside of a Corbin Carroll or Kento Marte to play. It really would, you know. And then speaking of lost seasons, I'm sorry, Rays fans. I'm sorry, Rays fans, Royals fans. Kansas City Royals. They got 7 games. They got 4 at Tampa Bay against the Rays. They got 3 in Chicago against the White Sox. Again, I would put this team in the same boat as the Tigers, with it being almost a lost season. I know there's still a lot of baseball left, but again, them and the Tigers, their records, where they stand, double digits out of the division, almost 5 games out of the wild card, playing over 500, they mirror each other. They're right with each other. And when you're going up against Drew Rossman, Shane McCullahan, Griffin Jacks, and then a first-place White Sox team with Anthony Kay, Davis Martin, all 7 games away, it's a tough task. It's a tough pill to swallow. And, you know, you just lost your best offensive player, one of the best shortstops in the league, in Bobby Witt Jr. You got Vinny P, who's out. Who's going to really anchor that offense? You can tell me Salvador Perez is going to go out there? I mean, he's like, what, 35, 38 years old? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. And that's the reason why I put this on there, because not only are they playing really tough pitching matchups, they're going up against really great pitchers. There's no one there that can help score runs and keep that offense going. And that's why I would kind of stay away from almost everybody on that team. Really. You lose one player, they all kind of, you know, especially when you lose the player that keeps the team going, right? Look at the Cleveland Guardians, and they're next on this list. And last but not least, like, you go out there, you lose a Jose Ramirez, and what do? You fall out of first, and then you're fighting for first with the White Sox. You're playing well under 500, and you're playing 3 games at Chicago against the first place White Sox, and then 3 games at home, but against the Seattle Mariners. You're going up against Anthony Kay, Sean Burke, from the Mariners. It's really tough to figure out who they're going to be going up against, because the way they juggle that rotation to me is the most ridiculous thing ever, right? You go in, you say, hey, listen, we're going to do this 5-man rotation, right? Bryce Miller's on the IL. We'll just roll out 5-man. Bryce Miller's back. Okay, we're going to go to 6-man rotation. And that looks to be doing all right. Now you got Luis Castillo, who's been struggling the entire year. Instead of him being the odd man out, let's just have him piggyback. Let's just have Bryce Miller start, have him come in and do long relief. I mean, that didn't work. He lost a game for Bryce Miller, for God's sakes. So then they go, you know what, let's just go back to a 6-man rotation. So then last week they're like, oh, let's just do piggyback. Let's do a piggyback again. I don't know what pitcher the Guardians are going to face just because of all this piggybacking going on. Who's on who? I just know one thing. Luis Castillo is this odd man out in this rotation. He is not performing at all. He wasn't performing last year, barely the year before. They should have traded him when they had the chance. But I do think they're going to face Emerson Hancock and Logan Gilbert for sure. It's looking like most likely George Kirby. But, I mean, it's a tough series. It's going to be a tough series. You know, that Mariners, it's a struggling offense without a Jose Ramirez. Steven Kwan isn't hitting. He's bad. He was their leadoff hitter for all of last year. Looked amazing. Now he's 6th, 7th in the lineup. Just really hasn't been performing, and it's tough. It's tough for that team. So I don't know. I just see the Mariners coming in, and that White Sox team is going to play them hard. That's a division. This is a chance for them to really show that they're ready to come in and win the Central. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think they're going to at least win that series. The White Sox are. So I would kind of stay away from the Guardians if I would. So before we get into the streamers, let me talk about some of the bigger IL stints, some of the bigger IL draft picks that hit the IL this past week. So, of course, we just talked about it. Guardians third base DH Jose Ramirez. He was placed on a 10-day IL. He had that hamate bone fracture. Giants have yet to release a timeline. The injury usually. So, yeah, looking like a couple months for him, unfortunately. And that's I mean, there's really no replacing that. Then you got Brave starting pitcher Spencer Strider. He was placed on the 15 DIL with a right elbow inflammation. This is the same elbow he's had surgery on twice. He's shut down for 4 weeks. Then he's going to undergo more testing once the inflammation kind of runs its course. They're saying best case scenario mid-August, early to mid-August. That's almost droppable. That is almost droppable, and that's tough. Honestly, he could be a steal next year in fantasy if you get him really, really late. But he's becoming a really bad injury case, and even when he's healthy, he just really hasn't been producing. Let's be honest, just his numbers don't look good. Talked about the Royals. First base DH Vinny P. He kind of looked like he was turning a corner a little bit. He landed on 10-day IL. He's got the hamate bone too. Again, about 6 weeks for that. Angels outfield DH Mike Trout. He's on the 10-day IL. He's got the hamstring strain again. When are the Angels finally going to realize Michael Trout should not be in the outfield? He should be a primary DH player. I don't know. We'll see. Unfortunately, there is no timetable yet, but there is some good news where the level of concern in the clubhouse is pretty low. So it's looking like a mild strain, minimum, maybe 2 weeks. So who are you going to have to replace some of these guys? And this is where the streamers come in. And there is rhyme and reason why these people are on here. So let me go over some numbers for you. And you be the judge, right? So I got Brewers first base, Andrew Vaughn. He's only 6% owned, 6 games, 3 at Cincinnati, 3 at home versus the Cubs. Milwaukee's been hot. 347 on the year, 2.5 a start. He's playing almost every day. This is a really good matchup for him. He got you 27 points in just 4 games like a week ago. I think this is a great source for teams looking to stream at first base. Why not go out, pick him up? I'm telling you, these are really good. This is a really good matchup for him. Next one I think this is a fun matchup, and this is a good story. It's Orioles third base, second base, shortstop, outfield. Blaze Alexander, only 3% on, 3.7. He's got 6 games. He's got 3 at LA against the Angels, 3 games at home versus the Nationals. He's at 304 on the year. He's got you 87 points, although 87 points, it's really 1.6 a start. His last 7 games, though, I mean, he's been one of the hottest hitters, not only on the team, but in baseball. He's got 471 average the last 7 games, and just in the last 15 games, just 3 strikeouts. 3 strikeouts is not going to kill you if he doesn't get on base. He's a contact guy, just 3 strikeouts. You take that. You take that all day, every day, almost like a Luis Arias, where if they're not on base, at least you can say, well, you know what? They're not going to kill me for this week because they're not going to strike out a ton, right? He should play every day because he's so versatile. So if you're streaming shortstops waiting for Lindor to come back, this might be the guy you could plug in for this week. Same thing for third base. Hold on to him. Put him on your bench. He's seeing playing time. He's not rookie. He's a little older. I want to say he's 27, 28, but contact guy, great average in a Cats league if you're trying to fight for an average. Low strikeouts and points leagues, not going to kill you. I like it. I like the start this week. I would go up and pick him up. And then for third base, I just said, maybe use Blaze. But let's talk about. We talked about the Phillies. We talked about their matchup. Alec Baum, 17% owned, Phillies third baseman. He's got 7 games, 4 in Washington against the Nationals, 3 in New York against the Mets. 9 home runs on the year, 139 points. He's averaging 2 a start. Again, you'll never replace a J-Ram, but the Phillies have to. I mean, they've been coming out. They've been having a coming out party. They're coming in strong in the East. They're in second place. He's one of the reasons why. Last 7 games, he's got you a solid 20 points, playing all 7 games this week. If you're fighting to figure out what you want to do going forward with J-Ram, why don't you pick up an Alec Baum, play him in third? That gives you a week to decide if we want to go out and trade for a third baseman or if you want to stream for the rest of the time. J-Ram's out. So he's going to buy you time to figure out what you want to do. I personally, if that was me, I would probably do that. I'd pick him up, IL, J-Ram, figure out what I'm going to do with third base on the go forward, and take it from there. So you go from that to starting pitching. And I got to say, and I know Mikey V's not here, but man, all these streamers, you talk about pitchers, you talk about hitters, we've been really good on hitting them. Canzone from Seattle's been on fire. Spencer Jones looks really good. And then for pitchers, we said Gage Jump from the A's a couple weeks ago. He looks great. Even Ryan Nelson last week. Yeah, he's on the IL now, but he got you the win Monday after looking horrible the start before that. And I said, you know what? He pitches so much better at home. Put him in your lineup. And let me tell you, I buy what I sell. I picked him up. I started Ryan Nelson. Yeah, look, I won't get the second start from him, but he got me a win and got me 21 points on Monday. So he got me more points than what I would have gotten if I had pretty much a relief pitcher in that spot, because I did start him as a relief pitcher. So I don't hate it. You know, as long as I got the win the first start, I don't mind him missing his second start. Obviously, I'd like it, but still a great addition. Great call. I got to say, we're making some really good calls. We might be like 80%. And you look at some of these older shows, and I'm hoping it's going to continue. And some of these, again, you'll say, well, that's not going to happen, but it might, you know, especially this one. So you got A's starting pitcher Aaron Cavale, 4.1% owned. Pretty good matchups, I think. We talked about them. We talked about that A's lineup. Monday, they're playing in San Francisco against the Giants. Sunday, in LA versus the Angels. He just got back from injury. Really didn't have his best start against the Pirates. Got the loss, 3 innings, 2 strikeouts, gave you -7 points. On the year, he's only giving you 7 points to start. It's not amazing, but this is where I kind of tap the brakes a little bit and say, well, look at earlier this year, he went out, he beat the Giants. He went 5, gave up 2. Got a new decision against the Angels just a few starts ago before he got hurt. I just think the offense, this is where I say, if you go out and you pick up a pitcher, the offense can really bail him out and get a couple cheap wins. And this might be one of those. You start him, you're looking for a 2-star pitcher, he'll go out, he could get you a cheap win here or there. You look good. I mean, those are pitcher-friendly ballparks, you know, especially in San Francisco. I think that offense will still bail him out enough, because that Giants offense really is night and day, and lately it's been night, which means they haven't been doing much. So I would put him in the lineup and I would start him. And we could revisit this next week, and you could say, Doug, you were totally wrong, but I totally get it. Next up, and this is one where I really like, and this is a guy I picked up, and if I was in a YouTube stock show where there was a button that said buy, I would hit that button. I would hit it 20 times right now. Mets starting pitcher, relief pitcher Sean Manaea, 2.5% owned. Wednesday at home versus the Cubs. Sean Manaea, finally back in the rotation. Really hasn't looked that bad. Look at the numbers, right? 6 innings pitched, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts versus the Braves. 5 1/3, 2 earned, 5 strikeouts, and no decision last start at Philly against the Philadelphia Phillies. Those are great starts. We know his ceiling. Just a couple of years ago, a guy went 12-6 with a 3.4 ERA. Of course, you know, injuries, performance, that kind of led to him taking a role in the bullpen this year. But I think he's got something to prove here on out. I think he's at home. He's riding the wave. He looks great so far. And those 2 starts on paper, I mean, again, the guy should have lost both of them, the Braves and the Phillies. They're a much better team. He got a no decision against the Phillies. But this is the problem. He got the loss against the Braves, and he only gave up 2. So you just hope that Mets team can go out and score some runs. That's it. And I think they can. I really do. I think they can against the Cubs. That Cubs pitching staff, they're night and day. I mean, I saw Ben Brown the other day. He looked all right, looked good. But Shota's been up and down. Like there's just really isn't like the ace, and it's. I think this is a great matchup for that offense. They've been clicking. The Mets have. Bo Bichette looks good. We already talked about some of his stuff. I mean, the last 7 games, he's been the best fantasy player for offense. Bo Bichette, I think he's got you like 41 points, right? And then who's been the third best? Juan Soto. That's crazy, right? So I think the offense, like I said, turning that corner. I think they can score more runs against the Cubs pitching staff than against the Braves or the Phillies. So I do like Sean Manaea. I did pick him up, and I did put him in my lineup because I buy what I sell. And then last but not least, Cardinals starting pitcher Mike McGreevy. He's 26% owned Thursday at home versus Arizona. Great year, 3.35 ERA. He's only giving you 7.1 to start. Not a big strikeout guy, but he's given you 3 quality starts in a row versus the Rangers, the Reds, and then at Minnesota against the Twins. I think he continues to ride this streak at home. He's got that electric offense behind him. I like him. I would pick him up. I would start him. But my favorite's going to be Sean Manaea. So if I hit on that next week, wow, just watch out, right? Some updates, and then we can go. I'll hopefully help you out and let you go on your way, okay? Toronto starting pitcher Shane Bieber. He made what looks like his last rehab start this past Wednesday. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 earned, 2 walks, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Excuse me. That brought his pitch count up to 80. Fastball 91.8, topped out at 93. I'd say even if he is activated, he wouldn't be fully stretched out. So I wouldn't put him in my lineup. I would actually wait maybe 1 or 2 starts. He looks rusty. And hopefully that velocity might tick up a little more. Mets stunning shortstop Francisco Lindor. Barring any kind of setback, he looks to be. They even set a date for him, June 26th, which is Friday. They're going to probably call him up, and he's going to be back in the lineup for the home series against the Phillies. It's a great sight to see for the Cubs team, for the club, excuse me. So I like it. I do. I think he's going to bring a boost. I think he sets that lineup back up where he takes lead off. Bo Bichette goes second, Juan Soto third. He brings so much more to that lineup when he's healthy and he's going. So I just hope his earlier cold streak is behind him with this call-up. That's all. Okay. White Sox first baseman Murakami. He began running the bases in back-to-back days after sustaining a hamstring injury. He looks to be on par with that 4 to 6 week timeline, which brings him back early to mid-July into the majors. And then last but not least, we had talked about the Cubs rotation. They might be getting a boost in about a month or two. You got Cubs starting pitcher Justin Steele. He began throwing a baseball, which means after that, he feels good. You send him on a rehab. You let him get stretched out. He could be in the rotation by late July. So something to hold on to if you are keeping him in an IL spot. You might be able to give your team a little boost because he is a pretty good strikeout guy, pretty good pitcher. And if that offense is going, get you some wins on top of that. So, listen, I know you're probably sick of hearing me. I'm kind of sick of hearing myself. You had me for almost, 53 minutes we talked together, right? I'm sure you're listening. We're just going back and forth together, just me and you. But we were able to talk about some Week 13 pitching matchups, some hitting lineup matchups that were good and bad, and, of course, some really good sleepers. So I usually say for Mikey V, I'm Doug, but I'm Doug. This is Bourbon and Ball. Don't forget to watch us live. We take live Q&As Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. FSAN. Join. We'll take questions. We'll try to help you out. Good luck this week in your matchup. Let's go.